You're an expert in your field. You've built your business by delivering value, solving problems, and making a difference. You know that a strategically crafted best-selling book could be the key to scaling your impact, amplifying your voice, and creating an even deeper connection with your audience. But where do you even start? The journey begins with a shift in perspective. Writing a book isn't just about putting words on a paper. It's about crafting a powerful tool with a clear purpose. It's not enough to simply share your expertise or your personal story. You need to shape it into something that deeply resonates with your target audience and serves their needs. Writing a book is about strategically positioning yourself as the go-to authority in your niche. It's about creating a tool that helps you attract the right clients, expand your reach, and build a legacy that aligns with your mission and your brand. Today, we'll dive into everything you need to know to write a book that will work for you. Whether you want to grow your business, elevate your credibility, or create a meaningful connection with your audience, this information is designed for you, the ambitious entrepreneur, expert, or professional who's ready to take their brand to the next level. You'll learn the 3 main types of nonfiction books and how to identify the type, purpose, and outcome of the book you want to write. Then we'll talk about the biggest mistakes authors make and how you can avoid them. We'll touch on AI and its effect on the writing and publishing process. And then you'll learn about the 5 main publishing paths, how to pick the one that's best for you, and the red flags to look out for. And finally, we'll talk about why a strategy-first approach to the entire process is your golden ticket to success. This isn't just about writing a book. It's about writing the right book for your mission, your vision, your business, and your brand. If you're ready to create something that resonates with your ideal audience and sets you apart as a trusted leader in your space, this is for you. So grab your notebook and a pen and let's dive in. I'm Ellie Shefi. I'm a 10-time international best-selling author, publisher, member of the National Academy of Best-Selling Authors, passionate business and book strategist, and attorney. I help entrepreneurs, speakers, leaders, coaches, and consultants like you strategically craft books that actually build your business and brand so you can increase your impact and income. I've always been passionate about helping others turn their expertise into tools for transformation. But like so many of us, the pandemic was a major turning point for me. You see, when COVID hit, several of my female entrepreneur friends were struggling. They were solopreneurs whose businesses were being crushed by the pandemic. Building businesses out of nothing is my superpower. So we jumped on a Zoom call, and in just 3 hours, I helped them create pivot and diversification plans to save their businesses. They're all still in business today. At the end of that call, my friend said, "Ellie, you have to write a book. There's millions of people out there who need to know how to do this. You have to share your strategies with the world." Well, now at that time, I was juggling my careers as an attorney with the federal judiciary and the dean of a law school. My initial reaction was, I don't have time to write a book. But if you know me, you know that serving is at my core. And my friends hit me where it hurt. They said, "Ellie, you have an ethical and moral and social responsibility to help others." That got me. Just 2 months later, my first book, Unlocking Your Superpower, 8 Steps to Turn Your Existing Knowledge into Income, was written, complete with a free, downloadable 75-page workbook. But then came the publishing hurdle. I hired a publisher, paid them a lot of money, and received a product that was embarrassingly bad. It looked like a 6th grade template with hideous fonts and formatting. And to make matters worse, the publisher wanted to house my manuscript in their back office, copyright my book, and receive my royalties. Well, I thought, absolutely not. First of all, I refused to put my name on a subpar product. And secondly, I'm an attorney who knows a thing or two about intellectual property and was certainly not going to let them control my IP. So I found another publisher. Unfortunately, I paid even more money to the second publisher only to face the same issues: bad templates, lack of customizations, and attempts to hijack my IP. After losing over $25,000 to two predatory publishers, I said, enough is enough. I realized there had to be a better way. I pulled together my own world-class team, experts with over 120 years of combined publishing experience, and together we launched a publishing house that reflected our values of quality, integrity, transparency. My mission became clear: to help authors write and publish world-class books that builds their business while ensuring that they retain ownership and control over their intellectual property and their royalties. I'm especially proud that my publishing house is an all-female team, because it aligns with my passion and my mission for providing a platform for women to amplify their voices. Now, since then, I've had the honor of helping over 100 people become #1 best-selling authors of nonfiction books that actually build their business and their brand. It's been an incredible journey. This work lights me up. It's my joy and my privilege to serve and empower others to share their stories and build their legacy. Now, writing and publishing a book can be a bit like the old choose-your-own-adventure novels. Each type of book generates different outcomes and needs different pathways and processes to make it a reality. So we're going to talk about several of them today. Now, if you're looking to write the next great romance novel or children's book, there's valuable content in here that you'll want to jot down. But my primary focus will be on nonfiction books designed to build your business and your brand. I want to start by talking about the three main types of nonfiction books, because understanding the purpose and desired outcome for each one is crucial when you're determining the process to follow for your own book. So let's break down these three core categories and what makes each one unique. The first type is a lead generation book. This is most commonly seen as a downloadable PDF. The primary purpose here is to attract your ideal clients, get their email addresses, and get them into your sales funnel. These books are designed to solve a specific problem for your target audience and compel them to take the next step in working with you. The desired outcome is to turn readers into leads, people who are now raising their hand and saying, yes, I'm interested in what you have to offer. I want more of this. Now, maybe it's a how-to guide, a checklist, or tip sheets. Whatever the focus, the key is that it aligns perfectly with the products, programs, and services you provide. These lead generation books are powerful because they allow you to offer something of real value upfront without any expectation of an immediate sale. You're building trust, demonstrating your credibility, and giving readers a taste of the transformation you can provide. And then you can seamlessly guide them into your sales funnel, whether that's with a free consultation, a low-ticket offer, or an invitation to work with you more closely. The writing style tends to be more practical and solution-oriented, with a clear call to action woven throughout. You want to position yourself as an authority, but also as an approachable guide who truly understands your readers' pain points. The second type of nonfiction book is the expert positioning book. The primary purpose here is to cement your status as the go-to authority in your niche. These are the books that showcase your deep expertise, unique methodologies, and innovative thinking. The desired outcome is for readers to see you as the premier expert they need to learn from, hire, or partner with. So maybe it's an in-depth exploration of a complex topic, or a framework you've developed to help your clients achieve better results. Whatever the focus, the key is that it positions you as a thought leader who can get your reader from where they are to where they want to be. These expert positioning books are invaluable for growing your influence, attracting high-level clients, and commanding premium pricing. They allow you to demonstrate the full breadth and depth of your knowledge in a way that builds unshakable credibility. And they can also serve as the foundation for additional revenue streams like workshops, masterminds, or licensing deals. The tone doesn't need to be overly academic or research heavy. Instead, it should strike a balance between demonstrating your authority and staying engaging and relatable. The writing style demonstrates that you've been where your readers are, have used the tools, processes, or strategies you're teaching, and have come out successfully on the other side. It's connective and allows your readers to feel seen, heard, and understood. It allows the readers to see themselves in you and fosters the trust your readers need to allow you to be their guide. The best expert positioning books show your audience what's possible, builds trust, and leaves them confident that you're the person who can help them achieve their goals. The third and final type of nonfiction book is the legacy book. The primary purpose here is to create a lasting impact that extends far beyond your own lifetime. These are the books that share your most powerful stories, your hard-won wisdom, and your vision for the future. The desired outcome is for your book to become a treasured resource that inspires, educates, and transforms generations to come. These legacy books are incredibly meaningful, not just for you, but for the readers whose lives you touch. They allow you to share your most profound lessons, your greatest triumphs, and your most vulnerable moments. And they can become a cherished family heirloom, a touchstone that continues to guide and inspire long after you're gone. The writing style tends to be more narrative and emotive, with a focus on storytelling and wisdom sharing. You want to strike a balance between honoring your own experiences and making it relatable and applicable for your readers. So, which type of nonfiction book will you write? Identifying the type of nonfiction book you want to write is critical because that decision will guide the rest of your writing and publishing decisions. Now, let's talk about the 5 biggest mistakes authors make and how you can avoid them. Mistake number 1 is writing without a plan. Don't sit down and write aimlessly or vomit your entire life story. Writing without a plan is like trying to assemble IKEA furniture without instructions. It's messy, frustrating, and completely pointless. Do clearly define the outcomes you want your book to achieve. Are you writing your book to educate and inspire? To build authority? Generate leads? Gain clients? Leave a legacy? Knowing what you want your book to achieve will allow you to reverse engineer a pathway to its success. Do also clearly identify your audience and the problem you're solving for them. Knowing who you're writing for and the problem you're solving allows you to ensure that your book, your content, and your process of transformation are on point. Do take your readers on a journey of transformation, sharing what they need to know to get them from where they are to where they want to be. For example, when I wrote Unlocking Your Superpower, I mapped out my chapters around my signature framework for building a business out of the things you know, do, and love. This not only gave me clarity when I was writing, but also ensured my readers had a seamless process they could follow step by step from start to finish. Mistake number 2, not knowing your target audience. You're writing your book for the people you want to serve. Take the time to know who they are. Identify their problems, pains, frustrations, hopes, and dreams, and then speak directly to them. When you try to appeal to everyone, your message becomes generic and loses its power. Don't use vague, generalized language or speak to them in the third person. Your book needs to speak directly to your specific target audience in order to resonate. Speak to your reader as if you're having a one-on-one conversation directly with them. Do clearly and specifically identify your target reader. Again, understand their pain, frustration, hopes, and dreams. Know the problems they have and the solutions they seek. Be able to articulate the transformation they desire and how you'll get them from where they are to where they want to be. Do take that information and create a reader avatar, a detailed description of your audience. Keep this document handy throughout your writing process. It'll help you write in a way that feels personal and relevant to your audience. Your ability to connect to your reader is tied to how well you know them, how well you're able to demonstrate that you've walked in their shoes, and how well you're able to make them feel seen, heard, and understood. It's worth taking the time up front to really get into the mind and experience of your audience. Mistake number 3, doing it yourself. One of the biggest mistakes I see authors make is trying to navigate the entire book writing and publishing process completely on their own. They think, I've got this great idea for a book, so I'm just going to sit down and write it and then self-publish it. Big mistake. When you take that DIY approach, you make costly rookie mistakes that completely undermine the value and credibility of the book. And that's a huge problem, especially if your goal is to use this book to build your business, your brand, and your authority in your niche. The problem starts with the writing process itself. When you try to do it all on your own, you're likely to fall into the trap of writing what you want to write instead of writing what your audience needs. Many DIY authors end up vomiting their story onto the page, telling every detail, sharing every idea, and including everything they know. The result is an overwhelming, disorganized book that feels more like a personal diary than your tool to build your business or your brand. It completely disconnects you from your audience and totally backfires. DIY authors also miss out on all the strategic nuances that are critical for audience connection, client attraction, and client conversion. Their book falls flat and fails to attract high-ticket clients, speaking and media opportunities, and aligned partnerships. It becomes a waste of time and money. And then, of course, on top of all that, you've got all the other complexities of self-publishing. Finding credible editors, cover designers, formatters who actually know what they're doing and can deliver world-class results. If you don't know the questions to ask to properly vet them, you're gonna end up with a subpar final product that will torpedo your credibility. I was just talking the other day to a client who had tried to self-publish her first book. She found a cover designer on Fiverr who promised to make her cover within 24 hours without ever even asking to read the manuscript. Then she found this editor on Fiverr who promised to edit her entire manuscript for $300. Can you guess what kind of editing she got? The same spell check and grammar check she could have done herself for free. No developmental editing, no content editing, no page proofing, just a quick once-over, and now she's stuck with a book that's riddled with inconsistencies, plot holes, and formatting issues. And then there's the whole issue of distribution and discoverability. If you're just uploading your book to Amazon, you're limiting yourself to one sales channel. Plus, you have to navigate all the complex algorithms and keywords and categories, things that a good publisher would handle for you. So now, not only do you have a book that doesn't represent your brand very well, but it's also nearly impossible for readers to actually find and buy. It's a recipe for failure, plain and simple. Look, I get it. You think, I can save a bunch of money if I do this all myself. But the reality is you're going to end up spending far more in the long run trying to fix all the mistakes you make. And you're going to be left with a book that doesn't move the needle for your business at all. The smart move is to partner with the right publishing team, whether that's a traditional publishing house, a hybrid publishing house, or a reputable independent publisher. Yes, you'll have to invest some upfront capital, but they'll handle all the heavy lifting for you, from editing to design and distribution. And you'll actually end up with a book that's strategically aligned with your business goals and positioned to actually drive results. Now, doesn't that sound a lot better than trying to do it all on your own? Mistake number 4, overloading your book with information. Don't include unnecessary tangents, rambling stories, or too many ideas. First-time authors often try to include everything they know about the topic they're sharing, but this can confuse readers and dilute your message. Do share the specific information your audience needs to know to be successful at each step in the journey, but keep it relevant. Simplify your content to ensure readers can follow along easily. Do ask yourself, does this information help the reader at this step in their journey? If yes, include it. If not, save it for another book or a blog post. Remember, your book isn't about you. It's about your reader. It's not the time or place to tell them everything you know. It's the time and place to curate and communicate exactly what they need to know. It's your opportunity to use your expertise to get them from where they are to where they want to be. So stay laser focused on the reader's journey. Mistake number 5, treating your book as the final goal. Don't see your book as a standalone product that generates royalties. Think of it as a tool that integrates into your larger business ecosystem, attracting high-ticket clients, growing your business, and opening the doors to speaking and media opportunities. Your book isn't the end game. It's the launch pad for opportunities like speaking gigs, media features, coaching programs, and more. Do include clear calls to action in your book, directing readers to your website, services, or resources. Do use your strategically crafted book as a credibility builder. Mention it in your content, leverage it to pitch podcasts or events, and use it to connect with your audience. My books have led to opportunities beyond my wildest imagination. I've spoken on stages around the world, been featured in global media, gained high-ticket clients and consulting contracts, and have collaborated with some of the biggest thought leaders of our time. Your book can create similar opportunities if you write it strategically and leverage it wisely. Now, another recent mistake that authors are making has to do with using AI to write their book. If you're writing a book, or even thinking about it, this is one conversation you cannot afford to ignore. As an attorney who spent decades working with the federal government, I understand intellectual property. The legal landscape surrounding AI and its effect on intellectual property rights is rapidly evolving. Unfortunately, many authors are preventing themselves from owning their work without even realizing it. So, what's the biggest mistake I see authors making with AI? Having AI do the writing for them. AI is a powerful tool, but it's scraping the internet for content. If you have AI do the writing for you, it's pulling generic, uninspired content that sounds like everyone else because it was written by everybody else. And even worse, if it's pulling content from material that the original author had copyrighted, you're not only creating something that isn't legally yours, you're actually committing copyright infringement. Now, speaking of copyright, if you use AI to help write your book, who owns the intellectual property? The answer is not as simple as you might think. Under current copyright laws, AI-generated content is not eligible for copyright protection in most countries, including the United States. Why? Because copyright law protects human creativity, not machine-generated text. This means that if your book is AI written, you can't protect it and you have no legal claim to it. But here's where it gets tricky. If you use AI as an assistive tool to brainstorm, outline, or organize your own original content, you can copyright the human-created portions of your work, provided that you disclose on your copyright application that you used AI as an assistant. The key is to ensure that you wrote the material itself and you're the primary creative force behind your book. So, what does this mean for you? It means that AI can assist you in organizing your human-generated material, but it cannot generate the material for you. If you're using AI to generate content and fail to disclose it, you could run into legal trouble down the road. The best way to protect your author rights and use AI effectively is to write your own original content. Again, you can use AI for brainstorming, research, or organization, but make sure your book is 100% your original intellectual property. Now let's talk about how AI is changing the publishing industry. Both publishing platforms and publishing houses are paying close attention to AI-generated books, and many are setting new guidelines to avoid copyright conflicts. Most reputable publishers, including me, are already including AI-related clauses in their contracts. Their contracts may explicitly state that only human-authored content is eligible for publication and that authors must disclose if AI was used in the writing process. If you're using AI and you're working with a publisher, It's important to read your contract carefully so you don't breach it. Now, if you're self-publishing, whether that's on Amazon's Kindle Direct Publishing or one of the other equivalent platforms, it's also important to note that when you're uploading your files, there are questions that explicitly ask about whether AI was used in the course of writing the book. If you used AI to write content for your book is ineligible for upload. Failure to answer honestly may result in your account being shut down on the basis of fraud. And once your account is shut down for fraud, you won't be able to access your book or receive your royalties. To combat the prevalence of authors failing to disclose the use of AI-generated content in their books, publishing platforms, including Amazon's KDP, are now routinely conducting AI sweeps. These AI sweeps specifically look for AI-generated content in the books that are live on their platforms. When a book is flagged as having AI-generated content, the author's account is shut down for fraud, and the author loses access to their book and their royalties. Now, here's something you may have seen recently that's actually a major trap to avoid. Some vanity presses and book writing coaches are telling you to use AI to write your book, and they're actually promoting AI-generated book services. If your book is simply a passion project that is a one and done with no place in your business, then that's one thing. But if you're wanting to use your book to position yourself as an expert in your field, attract high-ticket clients, and actually build your business and your brand, you'll want to copyright your material since your book will become a foundational business asset for you. Remember that you can't copyright or legitimately publish an AI-generated book. So don't fall prey to that use AI to write and publish your book trap. So how can you protect your work while still benefiting from AI? Let's talk strategy. First, keep records of your creative process. If you use AI for brainstorming, outlining, or organizing, document your original content. Save drafts, notes, and revisions to show that you actually created the content. Next, register your copyright. If you actually created your book's content, you should register your book with the United States Copyright Office or the equivalent in your country. This legally protects your work from unauthorized use or AI scraping. Third, use AI responsibly. Remember that AI is a tool you can use to brainstorm, outline, or organize your original material. It's not a ghostwriter. Use it to enhance your workflow, not to replace your creative process. Fourth, check publishing policies. Before publishing, make sure you review the platform policies. Amazon KDP, Ingram Spark, and other major self-publishing platforms have already introduced AI-related rules. Make sure your work complies so you don't run into issues later. Fifth, trademark your brand. Now, if your book is part of a larger brand, such as a coaching program, speaking business, or online course, consider trademarking your brand. This gives you additional legal protection in an AI-driven world. Now, beyond legal rights, there's another conversation happening about AI in book writing. Some people think that a book is nothing more than a glorified business card and a marketing asset, and that the only thing that matters is that you actually have one. They don't care about the content or the quality of the material. Now, I disagree. Your book needs to showcase your unique methodology and framework, your expertise, and your experience. It should reflect your lessons learned and your lessons earned. It should be a bridge between your expertise and the reader you want to help. It should create a genuine connection with your reader so they feel seen, heard, and understood. It should move them from reader to raving fan and then loyal client. The reality is people want to work with people they know, like, and trust, not machines who sell them snake oil. AI can be an incredible assistant, but it should never replace your expertise, your voice, or your unique perspective. Readers connect with you, your experiences, your insights, your way of storytelling. AI can help you refine and organize, but it can't replicate your authenticity. If you want to build a personal brand, grow your influence, and establish yourself as an authority, your audience needs you, not a machine. Okay, now that we've touched on publishing, let's dive deeper and talk about the 5 primary paths for publishing. Choosing the right publishing path is absolutely critical because it's going to determine whether you even need to write your manuscript at all. So, how do you choose the best publishing option for you? It all comes down to the purpose for your book and your desired outcomes. The first path is the traditional publishing house. This is the route you hear about most often. Getting published by the big names like Simon & Schuster, Penguin, or Macmillan. The upside is that you get incredible credibility and distribution reach, and your book has the potential to hit the prestigious New York Times bestseller list. The downside is it's highly competitive, with less than 1% of manuscripts getting selected. You'll need a literary agent to even get your foot in the door, and you give up a lot of control over your book's content, messaging, and marketing. The traditional publishing house will have their ghostwriters, editors, and publicity teams shape your book, and you may even have to give up on the copyright. Plus, the process is painfully slow. You're looking at 18 months to 5 years from start to finish. And if your book doesn't perform as well as they had hoped in that initial launch window, they may just leave it to die on the vine. So you're really at the mercy of their priorities and their resources. The second path is the hybrid publishing house. Now, these can still get you on the New York Times or USA Today bestseller lists, which is a big draw, but you have to invest a significant amount of money upfront. Generally between $50,000 and $250,000. The benefit to a hybrid house is more flexibility and negotiating power compared to traditional publishing. You don't need a literary agent, and you have a bit more say in the process. But you still have to be very careful. Any hybrid house guaranteeing a New York Times bestseller is likely a scam, as that's impossible to guarantee. You also need to really understand their funding model. What is it that your upfront investment is covering? Where is it going? Is it just covering the publishing costs, or is it also funding the critical marketing and promotional campaigns? Those can get extremely expensive, so you want to make sure you know what you're paying for ahead of time. The third path is the independent publishing house. Now, these offer the most control and flexibility over your work, but you're responsible for the publishing costs, which typically range between $20,000 to $35,000. Independent publishing houses vary significantly in quality, so you'll want to ask a lot of questions and see a draft of the publishing contract before you ever sign on the dotted line or pay them a cent. Now, when vetting your independent publishing houses, ask about their quality control process. What kinds of editing do they provide, and how many passes do you get? How does their cover design process work, and how many rounds of revisions do you get? Who copyrights the book? Where is the manuscript housed? Who gets the royalties? You want to avoid handing over your valuable intellectual property. Now, with an independent publishing house, you can often negotiate to retain full control over your intellectual property and your manuscript. You don't want your book living in someone else's back office where you could lose access if they go out of business. And be sure to insist on having all of your final files. You'll want those for your records. It's also important to know that independent publishing houses cannot get you on the New York Times or USA Today bestseller lists, but they can help you become an Amazon bestseller. The key is finding an independent publishing house that will partner with you on the business strategy, not just the logistics. The fourth path is self-publishing. Now, I only recommend this if your sole purpose for your book is as a passion project or a legacy piece. For business building books, self-publishing is a huge mistake. You end up making all the rookie errors, from generic covers to poor editing, to bad formatting, to no marketing plan. Self-publishing lacks the credibility and distribution reach that you need. When you self-publish, it's easy to fall into traps like hidden exclusivity provisions or using Amazon's free ISBN numbers, which ties your book to their platform. And of course, you're responsible for navigating all the complexities around copyright, categories, keywords, things that a good publisher would handle for you. Even if you do it right and invest $8,000 to $10,000, you're still missing out on the promotional power and distribution channels that a publisher can provide. Self-publishing is a lot of work for very little return, unless it's truly just a personal project. Now, the fifth and final path is the vanity press or book compilation. This is simply pay to play. It's the fastest path to the accolade of being a best-selling author, but it's mostly smoke and mirrors. There's little quality control, and you risk undermining your credibility if you actually try to promote the book. Vanity presses will let anyone pay to be part of their best-selling book, with minimal editing or oversight. And book compilations can be a minefield with inconsistent writing quality and potential issues around intellectual property and exclusivity. Steer clear of these unless it's truly just a passion project. So now that you've learned a bit about the 3 key types of nonfiction books and the 5 main paths to publishing, which publishing path best aligns with the goals you have for the book you want to write? Picking the right publishing path for your nonfiction book is one of the most critical decisions you'll make as an author. Get it wrong, and you could end up with a book that doesn't serve your business goals at all. But get it right, and your book can become a powerful strategic asset that opens up all kinds of opportunities. Take the time up front to get really clear on your goals and vet potential publishers thoroughly. The right partner can make all the difference in turning your book into a true business asset. Now, we have covered a ton of important information today, but the most important piece of advice I can give you is to start with strategy first. Know what type of book you want to write. Get clear on your outcomes. Know who you want to help and the problem you want to solve. And identify your best path to publishing, all before you ever write a single word. Too many authors make the mistake of just diving into their writing without a clear plan for how their book is going to serve their overall business goals. But you're not going to be one of them. You now know that your book is not just a book. It's a strategic asset that should be designed to grow your authority, build your business and your brand, and provide a steady stream of content and opportunities for years to come. When you reverse engineer your book from your business plan, that's when it becomes a true content creation goldmine. You can pull excerpts, stories, and insights from your manuscript to fuel your social media, your email marketing, your speaking engagements, your courses, and your programs. Your book becomes a never-ending source of authentic, engaging content that helps you show up powerfully and cohesively across every platform. And that level of omnipresence and congruency is what really helps you forge deep connections with your audience. They get to know, like, and trust you as their guide because they feel like they're talking to a friend. Your book is an extension of your unique voice and personality. It's not just dry, generic information. It's your perspective, your expertise, and your journey all woven together in a way that captivates and transforms. That's the kind of book that becomes a true business building asset. Not one that just sits on Amazon gathering dust, but one that opens doors, attracts your ideal clients, and puts you on the fast track to authority in your niche. So take the time up front to get crystal clear on your purpose, your desired outcomes, and your overall business strategy. That foundation will make every other decision, from choosing your publishing path to crafting your manuscript, so much easier and more impactful. Your book is too valuable of an asset to approach haphazardly. Ready to start crafting your book? I've put together a free resources library filled with actionable tools and strategies to help you write a book that resonates with your audience and positions you as the go-to expert in your niche. Simply scan the QR code to access your free resources. Thank you so much for allowing me to be your guide today. Please do connect with me. I can't wait to read your book and celebrate your success.